And actually, dirty air was the best for us. As we caught lap traffic, I was able to gap ourselves as he got more dirty air, and I was able to draft somebody, so it's a little slow down the straightaway. But dirty air.
Joey Logano uses this package perfectly to his advantage to win at Kansas, hold off Kevin Harvick for the last 30 or so laps, and lock himself into the championship race at Phoenix. That's right. Joey Logano was coming into this race behind the cutoff line. He wasn't like 30 to 40 points out. He was only 5 points out, but obviously a win locks him in. And after some guys in front of him, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick had all outgained him today in stage points, it put him a little bit farther behind the gap. I think at one point it was like 20 or so points behind the gap, but obviously a win locks you in, and that bumps the line down. So this now puts Chase Elliott below the cut line, and it jumps the gap for everyone else. Bowman was only like 15 points behind, I think, and now he's over 25 behind. So Logano winning does burst the playoff bubble a bit, but at the same time, you know, it's tough to say, but he really did use this package to his advantage. He used it perfectly at the end there. Kevin Harvick couldn't get by him. Announcers did a great job trying to hype it up, but let's be honest, we all knew Harvick wasn't going to get there. Harvick wasn't going to be able to pass him. Harvick had a better car, but Logano did a perfect job blocking. He did a perfect job using that dirty air to his advantage. We talk about that, and out of what I've seen from fans on social media, this might be it for this package, boys. I've talked about it on here. Everyone's talked about it. NASCAR fans are not a fan. The majority are, I would say, are not a fan of this package. And this is one of the reasons why. No, not discrediting Joey Logano at all. He drove perfectly at the end there. He did exactly what he needed to do to lock himself in at Phoenix. He won the race by holding off one of the guys who's been absolutely amazing all year. He's won 9 races this year. Logano raced him perfectly. He raced him clean. He did exactly what he needed to, and Harvick just couldn't burst that little air bubble in between him and Logano. He could only get so close, and the one time he tried to send it in and tried to bump Logano out of the way, because that's what you have to do to pass someone for the lead in this package, he missed, and he couldn't get back to him. So that's what happened. Another major factor to why Logano won was his pit crew. Major shout out to his pit crew. They got him first out of pit road on that last caution, and that's the reason he got to restart first, have lane choice. That's why he was in the lead in the first place. His pit crew got him there. So that team today, the whole team as a whole, the pit crew, Joey Logano, Paul Wolfe, they nailed it today. And they got themselves into the championship 4 with a win at Kansas. They haven't won since before the COVID started. Like, their last win was Phoenix. They won Phoenix and Las Vegas in March or February. They haven't won since then. This is their 3rd win of the season. They haven't won since then, and it's a great time to win in this format. Win and you're in, and Joey Logano's win locks him into the championship 4. They played it perfectly, so congratulations to them. But man, oh man, we had an incredible finisher in there. Harvick and Logano, 2 of the best in the sport. Past champions. Harvick's had an outstanding year, 9 wins. Logano's had a great year too, a couple wins. He's been obviously a deep playoff run, and it was the same thing for about 30 laps. Harvick would get a lot of big runs. He'd get right there on not really the bumper, but he'd get a really close. Air bubble would play a factor. He'd have to check up. He'd have to lift or something. Logano would throw not a block, not like an aggressive block, but he'd run the same line as Harvick going into the corner. Air bubble disturbed Harvick's car, and Harvick couldn't do anything. And that was the last 30 laps. There was some good, I will admit, other than the finish, there was some good racing at the beginning. A lot of side-by-side battles, some three-wide racing for the first 10 laps or something. When it came to the lead, you couldn't do anything. The only time I remember a lead change happening, I think Keselowski or Elliott passed Harvick for the lead, and that's because Harvick slipped up a bit. He slipped up, he went up the track or something like that. And, you make a mistake, you have to lift, and the other guy doesn't have to lift, he's going to pass you. But Logano obviously did not make a mistake, and it just Harvick never had a shot. When Logano's good enough that he's not going to make a mistake, and he's going to drive through lap traffic, well, Harvick doesn't have a shot. You can't pass anyone for the lead when you have dirty air. I mean, Logano's got clean air in front of him. He's going to be able to pass anyone he wants to. He's going to be able to drive away if he's better. But Harvick, he was the best car all day, and he couldn't pass Logano because of the dirty air. I mean, seriously, like, Harvick could have had a car twice as good, but if he can't get side by side with Logano, he can't pass him, and that's what happened here today. I'm hoping this is that hammering you hear is the sound of the nail of the final coffin. You know that iconic quote? I hope that's that for this package. I know we're getting it back next year, but when it comes to the next gen car, I hope we get something different. That had the potential to be a really good finish between Harvick and Logano, two guys who drive really hard, really great drivers, side by side draft and all that stuff. But unfortunately, we got something that we could have predicted 30 laps. With 30 laps to go, I was like, okay, Harvick's there. But with about 20 to go, I was like, yep, Harvick's not going to get past him. So with 20 laps to go, I was like, he's not going to be able to get side by side because of that air bubble, and that's exactly what happened. The air bubble kind of ruined a great finish there. But as I said, Logano played it perfectly. He did exactly what he needed to do. He went into the line. He thought Harvick was going to go in. Harvick followed. Harvick couldn't do anything about it. Joey just drove it perfectly. He did exactly what he needed to. Pit crew got him up front, which is why he was in that position. But yeah, if you're a Harvick fan, obviously you got a big points gap, so you're not too frustrated, but definitely frustrated he didn't get the win today. Yeah, that's got to be a little frustrating as what the heck? Whoa. Sorry, like 50 things just popped up on my computer as I was about to go to the results, and that's confusing. Anyways, wow, computer just like 5 things shot up at once. That was really confusing. But anyways, overall, the race itself, as I said, those last 30 laps, it had the potential to be a great finish, and then it was so dull. NBC, I've given them a lot of crap this year. And once again, about 15 laps into the race, I live stream. I don't have like cable and stuff in my dorm room. I have a live stream, right? I'm streaming it. And 15 laps into the race, it just says, your coverage will resume shortly. I didn't get the coverage back till lap 35, so that's 20 laps of not having the race on. That made me pretty mad. It was a glitch in the system. You know, I can't do anything about it. I don't know anything about technology, so whatever. But they did do a good job trying to hype up that last battle there. In my opinion, you can't. You can try your best to hype it up, but when you know what's going to happen, it sucks. But they tried their best, but once again, Logano did it perfect. Those last 35 to 40 laps, however many laps that was, that last green flag run, he did perfect job holding off Harvick. So congratulations to him. Big win for them, as I said. They were below the cutoff line coming into this race. They'd fallen back a little bit due to stage points, but the best thing to do in this format is win, and you get to the championship race, and that's what he did. And he's got a really good shot. They've been pretty good at the 750 tracks, and he won at Phoenix in the spring. He could play spoiler like he did in 2018 again. So, but if that does happen, you will see a nice. If anyone other than Harvick or Hamlin, even if Chase Elliott wins the title, you will see a big rant from me on this format. Harvick finishes second. He did what he needed to today. Obviously, a win would have locked him in, but a guy winning below the cutoff line makes him go from 60 points above to 50. So unless he wrecks out these last 2 races, he's fine. And next week, he's the heavy favorite at Texas, so he's fine. Best car all day. Unfortunate ending for him, considering the dirty air. Third, Alex Bowman. If Harvick wins that race, this was the day that Alex Bowman needed, but unfortunately, Logano wins, and this actually sends Bowman backwards. Bowman probably came in about 20-ish points below the cutoff line, I want to say, but this puts him at 30 or something. I'll get the official points here in a minute, but Bowman had a solid day. He got some stage points early on. He rallied up to 3rd place. If Harvick makes that pass there, I think Bowman's only 15 points out. So 10 to 15 point swing there from Logano winning. Logano's win screwed everyone that's not Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin or even Brad Keselowski. It screwed Brad Keselowski a little bit, but everyone that's not Hamlin or Harvick, it's screwed. So, yeah, unfortunate for those guys that aren't Joey Logano, basically. So, yeah, that screwed Bowman's day, or not his whole day, but, just what happened there with Logano winning, it hurts him. 4th, Brad Keselowski, really good day. He had a top 5 car all day, but once again, his teammates win puts him on a close, I think it's 5 or 6 points above Chase Elliott. So that's going to be a close race there, but they do have Martinsville, so they got to be looking forward to that. Kyle Busch with the top 5 run. He had some damage early on, I think, led a few laps there. But a top 5 finish, they've had a terrible 2020. A top 5 finish is good for them. Good for them. 6, Chase Elliott led a lot of laps early on, won stage 1. They had a really good day going, but they slipped back. They had radio communication issues all day. I personally think NASCAR should have called them in. I couldn't tell if their radio was working. It's like one lap, their radio wasn't working at all. He couldn't hear a thing. Elliott couldn't hear a thing. The next lap, Elliott can hear what they're saying. And then 10 laps, he can't. Then at 15 laps, he can again. So I really actually didn't know if his radio wasn't working or not. I don't know when it was, when it wasn't. But if it wasn't, I think they should have brought him in. You got to be able to hear your spotter and stuff. But yeah, whatever. Elliott wins the stage. Elliott gets a good amount of points, but it ends up falling below the cutoff line due to Logano's win. 7th, Ryan Blaney. He was in the top 5 most of the day. Falls back to 7th there, but still a really good run for him. He's just going for 5th in points at this point. 8th, William Byron. Good day for them. Once again, just going for 5th in points. 9th, Martin Truex Jr. He falls a little bit more below the cutoff line due to Logano's win. 10th, Christopher Bell. Good run for him. Top 10 finish for the rookie. 11th, Austin Dillon. 12th, Matt DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto looked terrible at the beginning of the day. Got a lucky caution, pulled some strategy, got up into the top 10, and gets a 12th place finish. Not bad. 13th, Eric Almirola. 14th, Cole Custer. 15th, Denny Hamlin. Yikes. It looked bad for Hamlin for a minute. It looked like Choke Hamlin was stepping back in the seat for a minute. Hamlin on a restart after he won stage 2. Went up the track in front of his teammate and clipped the wall. Had a tire going down, had to pit, went a lap down, was in the 20s or 30s at that point. It was looking bad for a minute. Got a caution, was able to get the wave around, rally up to 15th, but laid 58 laps, won a stage, and finishes 15th. And once again, Logano's win hurts him too, because without Logano winning, he would have been 30 or 40 points above, but now I think it's like 20 points above, and we've seen 20 points be swung in one race before, so Hamlin, he's got a decent gap, but he can't be 100% comfortable. He's still got to go out next week at Texas and at Martinsville and do really well. 16th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 17th, John Hunter Nemechek. 18th, Bubba Wallace. 19th, Michael McDowell. 20th, Eric Jones. Eric Jones was in the top 10 early on. I think he hit the wall, had some tire issues or something, and had to pit, so ends up finishing 20th. 21st, Chris Buescher. 22nd, Ryan Newman. 23rd, Corey LaJoie. 24th, Ty Dillon. 25th, Tyler Reddick. He had a tire issue too, I think. 26th, Clint Boyer. Not the finish he wanted to have in his last Kansas race, his last home race. They had a cool tribute, though. Look over, yeah. That's pretty neat. 27th, Daniel Suarez. 28th, Brennan Poole. 29th, Ryan Preece. 30th, J.J. Yeley. 31st, Jimmy Johnson. Involved in a crash that they didn't throw a caution for. His luck is terrible. 32nd, James Davison. 33rd, Coin Houff. 34th, Timmy Hill. 35th, Josh Balicki. 36th, Reed Sorensen. 37th, Joey Gase. 38th, Kurt Busch is now in a must-win. We knew that Kurt Busch was he was not in a great situation coming into this round. He was looking really good early in this race, was running top 5. He was up front, but in stage 3 early on, in stage 3 or late in stage 2, he started losing fuel pressure or something. The power went down, something like that, and then his engine blew up, and he finished in 38th. Now he's in a must-win. I know that for a fact. It's going to take an absolute miracle for him to point his way in, so it's a must-win for Kurt Busch. So obviously, bad day for them. This is not the day they wanted to have. They were hoping to win today, but they got to win at Texas or Martinsville if they want to make it to the championship 4. Chad Fincham, 39th, 40th, Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth he's having a rough year. Here are your points. Joey Logano with a win locks himself into Phoenix. That's right. Joey Logano's win bursts the bubble. He wins. Bumps everyone down a spot because he was below. If he finished second, he would have been below that cutoff line, so big win for him. Kevin Harvick, 41 points above the cutoff line. As I said, he just needs to do decent these last 2 races. Denny Hamlin, only 20 points above. Luckily for him, he has that big gap. Because of all those wins this year, all those stage wins, he has that big playoff point gap, but it's down to 20. He can't afford a bad race here. If he doesn't make the Final 4, it's a joke. But anyways, Keselowski only 8 above the cutoff line. Elliott 8 below the cutoff line. That can be flip-flopped in a stage. Then after that, it is a big jump. Bowman 27 points below. Truex 31 below. And Kurt Busch 73 points below. So Kurt Busch in a must-win. Martin Truex and Bowman, they got to go for a win. I mean, it's possible they can come back, but a lot's going to happen, so they got to win. And then Elliott and Keselowski, that's the only points battle, I would say. If none of these other guys, if Bowman, Truex, or Kurt Busch win, then it's between Elliott and Keselowski for that last spot. But obviously, if something happens to Hamlin or Keselowski, that could open up a spot for Elliott, maybe even Bowman or Truex. But Kurt Busch is in a must-win. Elliott, he's got a legit shot at it points-wise. But Bowman, Truex, it's a long shot for points. Win gets you in, and then Kurt Busch is in an absolutely must-win. Harvick is safe. Hamlin can't afford a bad race. So there you go. There is the Kansas post-race thing as they cut off the coverage. So rip. But yeah, Dirty Air played a factor. Dirty Air won this race. Joey Logano played Dirty Air perfectly, I should say, and won this race. But congrats to that team. They've had a long year. They haven't won in quite a while, so big win for them. Perfect time to win, though, so they got a shot at Phoenix.